Hey guys, I'm back. Jumping back on here to take a peek at your proofreading exercise today, your sentence editing, and talk a little bit about our sentences. And even though you guys didn't have to do proofreading on those on that sentence editing exercise that I posted on Edmodo, still thought we might talk about proofreading marks since I have the sentences on my board, which you can see is right there. But I guess for you guys it's looking a little backwards, but we'll get through it anyway. You had 4 sentences today that you were supposed to write correctly and take a picture of that and turn it in. So I wanted us to just take a peek at those sentences, and I can see how you did, but I wanted to go over it with you and make sure you guys were all on the right page with that. So your first sentence said, today is December 10th, 2020. So I hope you remember the very first thing that we always check at the beginning of our sentence is a capital letter. And when we're using our proofreading marks, right before we got out of school, we introduced proofreading marks, and we said to show that something needs to be capitalized, we put 3 little lines under it. So when you wrote your sentence, you should have written that with a capital 2 for today. And then was good to go. And then December. If you look at how I had December on that sentence, it was all kinds of crazy. It was not right at all. We were missing a capital D. So I'm going to put my 3 lines under that D because the month of December is always capitalized. It's what we call a proper noun. We haven't talked about that yet, but that's what it is. So the months of the year are always capitalized. And I spelled it wrong. That's not how we spell December. Hopefully you caught that. So if you remember to change how we spell something, on top we put that little SP, and then we spell it the right way, capital D-E-C-E-M-B-E-R, December. When you write my sentence, I'll just write it in the right way, which is what you guys did on your paper. December 10th, and after 10, we always put a comma between our day and our year. So we need to insert a comma. And do you remember what we use to insert? We do that little upside down. It's kind of like looks like a little mountain peak or a triangle without the bottom. Put that little thing in there, and then we put the comma underneath to show that we're inserting that comma. That's our proofreading mark for that. So we're going to put a comma, 2020, and then we need to put an end mark, which means we need to know what kind of sentence this is. Today is December 10th, 2020. So we know that we've learned 4 types of sentences. We have learned declarative, and remember, a declarative sentence makes a statement. That's a statement sentence, and it always ends with a period. So that was the first type of sentence that we learned. And then we learned that there was what we call an interrogative sentence. That was that big word we learned. Interrogative. And we remember interrogative, if a detective interrogates somebody, he asks a lot of questions, and that's how we remember interrogative, because if he interrogates, he asks questions. An interrogative sentence is a question sentence. It asks a question. So it's going to end with a question mark. Then we learned one of my favorite sentences, exclamatory, because we know Miss Whitley likes to be very exclamatory in the classroom. Shows strong feeling and emotion. We get all excited. So exclamatory sentences show strong feeling or emotion, and those end with exclamation points. And then the last sentence that we learned right before we got out was the other I sentence, and that was imperative. And imperative sentences, if you remember, they're bossy. Those are our bossy sentences. They give commands, and they also end with periods. So when we have our sentences that end with periods, we have to look carefully and say, is it just making a statement, or is it being bossy and giving a command? Okay, so we have our 4 types of sentences: declarative, interrogative, exclamatory, and imperative. So this sentence says, today is December 10th, 2020. What kind of sentence would that be? Well, that's just making a statement. So that's a declarative sentence. So it needs a period. So we're going to use our little insert mark to put a period at the end of that sentence. So that's what your sentence should have looked like when you edited it and wrote it correctly on your paper. Now the second sentence said, tomorrow will be Friday, and it has a question mark at the end. So let's take a look at that one. First things first, like we always do, it needs a capital letter. All sentences start with a capital letter. And you might not have caught that, but I spelled tomorrow wrong. I don't know what I'm doing over here. I'm spelling everything wrong. So I need to put SP, and I need to spell tomorrow correctly. Everything was right until the end. It doesn't have an E on the end of it. We don't put an E on the end of tomorrow. So tomorrow with a capital T, no E on the end. Tomorrow will, that looks good. B, well, it's spelled right, but I put a capital letter in the middle of my sentence for no reason. B is not a special word. It's just a regular word. And we are 2nd grade now, and we don't just throw capital letters into the middle of our sentences. So we need to fix that. Remember, if we're going to make something lowercase, our proofreading mark is to slash it and write a little L and a little C over the top so that we know that needs to be lowercase. So when I write it on my paper, I'm going to write it with lowercase letters. Friday. Friday is another one of those special words, what we call a proper noun. It needs to be capitalized. So 3 little lines underneath. Capital Friday. And tomorrow will be Friday. I have a question mark here, which means it would be an interrogative sentence. Is that a question? Tomorrow will be Friday? Doesn't it sound like a question? That's not right. So I need to take that out and add a period, because that's a declarative sentence, just another statement. All right, sentence 3. Did your family decorate a Christmas tree at your house? Capitalize that first word. Then we need to put lowercase on that family. So we slash it and put an LC over the top. Decorate a Christmas tree. All right, Christmas. I don't know if you guys remember this, but Christmas needs to be capitalized. That's an important holiday, so it needs to be capitalized. Christmas tree at your house. That's got an exclamation point. And Christmas is exciting, but this sentence starts with the word did, which means we're asking a question. So that should not be an exclamatory sentence. That should be an interrogative sentence. So it needs a question mark. So capital did, your family with a little f. Decorate a capital Christmas, lowercase tree at your house and question mark. Excuse me. And that was, as we said, an interrogative sentence asking a question. All right, last one. I can't believe it's almost Christmas. Capitalize that I. It's the beginning of a sentence, plus you're going to learn this. We always capitalize the word I. Can't looks good. Believe looks good. It's looks good. And if you'll notice, it has an apostrophe. That is a contraction. We're going to be learning about that soon too. Almost. And here, Miss Whitley finally got it right. I wrote Christmas with a capital letter, just like it should be. So Christmas is good. And listen to how I read that. I can't believe it's almost Christmas. I have a lot of strong feelings and emotions about that, so that makes it exclamatory. So we need to add an exclamation point. Put that exclamation point on the end of that sentence and ta-da, we're all done. So that was a quick rundown, quick review of our proofreading marks, what we needed to look for in those sentences, and our 4 types of sentences. Hopefully you remember all that good stuff. If you have any questions, you can shoot me a text or an email. I'll be happy to answer them. But remember, very important to remember, declarative makes a statement, ends with a period. Interrogative asks a question, like you're interrogating someone. Ends with a question mark. Exclamatory is very excited, shows strong feeling or emotion, and ends with an exclamation point. And imperative is bossy, gives commands, ends with a period. And we didn't have any imperative sentences up there, but those would be sentences like, go clean your room, please stop talking, go wash the dishes, be nice to your sister. Those kind of sentences are imperative. So I hope you guys got all that. I can't wait to see your work. Love you, miss you, see you later. Bye.